What's going on, everybody? It's ETAPRIME back here again. Today we're going to be testing out Palworld on the Steam Deck. So this is one I've been really excited about, and I know a lot of people out there have. At the time of making this video, this is the #1 seller on Steam, and I figured we'd go ahead and see if we could run it on the Steam Deck and how well it runs. Now, I've been messing around with it for a little while. I actually had to restart my save because I kind of got stuck with some settings that I messed up myself. And after restarting, I noticed that I could actually go back through in single player and change all of my world settings, but I messed that one up. So we're going to get into it here, see how good it runs on the Steam Deck, if it's worth buying for this device. And keep in mind, this is also available on Game Pass. Unfortunately, we can't boot up our Game Pass games in Linux on the Steam Deck, but if you've got Windows installed, you can always try it out with Game Pass. And if you're not familiar with Palworld, basically think about ARK Survival Evolved mixed with Pokemon and Monster Hunter, with a little bit of Breath of the Wild sprinkled in there. This game is a lot of fun. It's well worth the price over on Steam right now. Very positive reviews. And if you're into open world survival RPG / monster hunting, monster fighting games, then this one will be right up your alley. At the time of making this video, Palworld was released about 24 hours ago, and unfortunately we're not going to be running this at 60 FPS on the deck, even at all low settings with some FSR. So what I've done here is kind of lock it down at 30, and at 30 FPS with the correct settings, you can have a really smooth experience with this game. You could run this at 45, but you will have to take all of the settings down to low, and in my opinion, even on the smaller 7-inch screen here, it doesn't look as good. And by the way, I've got the Steam Deck OLEd here. You're going to see the same kind of performance on the LCD version of the Steam Deck. We've got that same exact chip. I haven't done any kind of performance mods to this unit or anything like that. And really, the only time I notice it dipping under 30 FPS is when there's a lot of pals on screen. So we'll get right into a little bit of fighting here. Most of mine are actually kind of sleeping right now because I got attacked by a bunch of mammoths last night and they basically destroyed my whole base. So I would be throwing out some pals right now, but unfortunately I've just got a spear here. So we're just going to mess with these guys real quick. Lots of effects should be going on in just a second. Not a super fast-paced kind of game. Now, it can get pretty quick when there's a lot of creatures on screen at one time, but overall, I think at 30 FPS, it's kind of perfect for the Steam Deck itself. Again, it would have been really nice just to go into this and run it at 60 FPS at the kind of settings I have. And speaking of the settings, let's go over there real quick and then we'll get into more of an intense battle just to show you what kind of performance we're seeing here. First things first, from the Steam Deck's performance settings, we've got our frame limiter set to 30 FPS. I've enabled half rate shading, and that's about it. I've also got this performance overlay. You can set it up however you want, just so you can see if you're getting a good frame rate out of it. And now we need to move into the game settings. From the graphic settings inside of the game, once you boot this up, it's going to be set to medium at full screen. I've gone ahead and just adjusted some of these settings here. We're still at full screen. I've set the max FPS to 30, VSync is on, I've left motion blur on, view distance set to medium, grass detail set to medium, shadows I did go down to low, but you could leave these at medium if you don't mind dipping every once in a while under 30, effects quality I've also set to low, and texture quality is set to medium. And of course, since we're in full screen mode, we're at 1280 by 800. In window mode, you could take the resolution down, which would definitely help out with performance, but in my opinion, just doesn't look great like that. Now, I will tell you, if you want those shadows to look a little better, you could take those up to medium and your view distance down to low. View distance and shadows with this game kind of hit hard on the Steam Deck, so just keep that in mind. But with these settings here on the Steam Deck, you should see a pretty steady 30 FPS. And just to give you a better idea, we've got some larger pals on screen. These are the two guys that destroyed my base last night. There's no way I'm going to take them out with what I've got right now, but I still wanted to show you here because we've got a lot of effects, lots of stuff going on. And if you take a look in the top left-hand corner, we've got our frame counter. You'll see it dip every once in a while down to 28, even with the settings I have here. But for the most part, we're at a steady 30 FPS. Again, going up to 60 would be really nice, but we're going to be hard-pressed to do that on the Steam Deck with the APU we have here. And of course, performance will get better down the road. I could definitely see this be optimized from the developers to run at about 45 FPS on the Steam Deck. So I will be keeping an eye on this. I'm going to be playing it quite a bit on the Steam Deck itself, so as soon as we get some more optimizations, I may make another quick video. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. Figured I'd go ahead and show this off real quick. I know a lot of you out there do have Steam Decks, and it would be horrible to waste your money on something like this and it not play well. But if you don't mind playing at 30, then yeah, this is a really awesome game for the deck. If you've got any questions, let me know in the comments below. And like always, thanks for watching.